Hello everyone, this is Pouch to Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every day. Today we continue working with the blouse made on the basis of the pattern for the garments with the drop shoulders. First, I need to trace the darts to the other side. Notice that I've made the space and seams on the center front in these details. I made them in all the details. When I tack these details, I show you how to make a bow and a collar. After that, I'll try the blouse on. I remind you that I made 2 darts instead of 1. I did it for the dart tops to be not that sharp. It wouldn't be convenient to stitch and iron them otherwise. I'm not using a ruler to draw the darts, because they are not absolutely straight. Due to the fact that they are slightly round, they will make the blouse fit the body perfectly. That's it. I traced the darts, so I can start taking them. One of the tailors of my fashion house is taking the back off the camera. I recommend you making notches here. The notches should be tiny. Have a look at what I'm doing. It should be done for you to tack the darts accurately. This is how the tack darts look like. Their tops are soft. They're not sharp. I recommend you using this technique for making the darts more beautiful. I need to tack the darts in the second detail as well. It's very convenient to learn to work with the dart. Have a close look at the dart top. It's not sharp. The darts are ready. Next, I need to tack the waistband and the lower part of the blouse. This is how the blouse is going to look like. There will be 2 pin tacks here in the lower detail. First, I need to tack the waistband to the upper detail at the front. Match the space and seams on the center front to do it. I hope that everything is clear so far. I'm showing you everything very thoroughly. How to divide the front and the back into the details, how to move the darts, how to make a waistband, how to make the accurate seams on the center front. If you do everything the way I show you, you won't have any problems. I show you all the details and technique very thoroughly. Notice that the details match perfectly. If you work accurately, they will always match. I'll take the second front detail off the camera. I remind you that I'm making a mock-up. You should double the waistband with the interfacing material before taking it. When the waistband is doubled, it will be very strong. I'm taking the seam to the wrong side for the blouse to fit me better at a fitting. Don't be lazy. It doesn't take long to tack the blouse. Just be accurate and attentive when doing it. Next, I need to pin the pin tacks according to the notches. Very nice. Next, I need to tack the lower part of the front to the waistband. I know that the design seemed pretty complicated in the sketch, but actually it's not. Have a look at the tacked blouse. The darts, the waistband, the pin tacks. There is nothing complicated here. Next, I need to tack the shoulder seams. When they're ready, I'll move on to making a collar. I like showing you new, interesting designs and techniques.
На дворе 21 век, надо уходить.
I'm taking the shoulder seams. Have a look at the sketch once again. Notice that the collar starts not at the point where the front neckline ends, but higher, somewhere in between that point and the shoulder seam. You can make a collar of any shape you want. It can start right in this point. You can make a shawl collar, which goes up from the waist. I've already showed you a lot of different types of the collars. Use your imagination. I want the collar to look exactly like the one in the sketch. First, I need to mark the lower point of the collar in the blouse. The collar will go up from this point. I'm going to show you how to make it. I need to make a pattern for the collar. I'm drawing the line which is even to the distance between the drawn mark and the shoulder seam. Have a look here. This line copies the distance between the shoulder seam and the mark on the neckline. Notice that the line is slightly round. It can be even more round in your case. Just copy the line from the garment. Next, I need to draw one more line up from the shoulder seam. It should be even to the back neckline. This line is going to be changed. Have a look here once again. I remind you that this line copies the distance between the shoulder seam and the marked point. I need to mirror it. The line I'm drawing now mirrors the original one. I remind you that this line is straight. It should be drawn in the same direction as this line further from this point.
Видите, да? Вот эту
These are the
ниточку,
shoulder
вот
seam,
эту я просто плечевой шов, центр
the center
спины,
back, and the
начало
beginning of the
воротника.
collar. Let's have a look at the points
Начало
once again.
воротника,
The
плечевой
beginning of
шов,
the collar, the
центр
shoulder
спины.
seam, the center back.
Я нарисовала
This line
вырез, который
copies the distance
соответствует
between the
от
shoulder
плечевого
seam
шва
and the mark in
до
the front
начала
neckline.
воротника. И в
This
зеркальном
line mirrors the
отображении
original
нарисовала
one.
его. И вот отсюда, как
Further
пошла
from this
линия, я
point,
ж не
the
могла
line
её
was drawn in the
оборачивать
same
навести.
direction.
Вот как пошла, вот так
These
пошла.
angles should
Вот
be
тут
straight.
мой угол.
This line should be about 7 centimeters long.
7. Большой сильный воротник.
Don't make collars too wide on the center back. They are not comfortable in this case. You can draw this angle of any shape you want. I want it to look this way. That's it. The pattern for the collar is ready. These two angles are right.
Вот на уровне плеча, когда вы строите воротник,
I remind you that this is the shoulder seam. Make this edge a bit round on this level, at least for about 2 millimeters. This part of the collar can be made of any shape you want. It could be round, it could be square, it could be bigger. This is how it is going to look like in my blouse. I want you to understand that the fact that my collar looks this way doesn't mean that yours have to be the same. I need to cut the pattern for the collar. When I do it, I'll cut the collar of fabric. There's one more detail I want to pay your attention to. This is how the pattern for the collar looks like. This is the center back and the shoulder seam. Watch what I'm doing. I need to make a couple of cuts in the outer edge of the collar. Each of them should be open for about 3 or 4 millimeters. Have a look at the shape of the collar when I fix the openings with the sticky tape. I can start cutting the collar. When I do it, I'll take it to the blouse. I show you the most simple ways of work. Have a close look at the collar once again. I made several cuts in the outer edge of the collar and opened each of them for about 3 or 4 millimeters. Notice that the other edge wasn't cut. It was done for the collar to fit me better at the back neckline. I can start cutting now. Have a look here. Notice that I don't add the seam extension to the outer edge of the collar. I don't need to do it because I'm making a mock-up. You don't need to add the seam extension to the outer edge of the collars when making mock-ups. Add just about 7 millimeters to the inner edge. As I've already said, I show you the most simple sewing techniques. Do not forget to make a notch in the center back. This is how the collar looks like now. I like it. Next, I need to pin the center back of the collar to the center back of the blouse. This notch marks the beginning of the collar. I can start taking it now. When I take it, I'll try the blouse on. Finally, I've been waiting for it for quite a long time. Have a close look at the way the collar matches the garment. It's absolutely perfect. If you work accurately, you won't have any problems when inserting the collar.
Что у нас основы больше, мы по ней построили, в ее же вметываем. Ни одной проблемы нету.
The collar is tacked.
Вот так это будет
This is how it
выглядеть наш
looks like
стоячий
now.
отложной воротничок. Мне нужно, чтобы
I
наши
want the bow
баллы
to be
были
65 or 70 centimeters long.
примерно так вот, 50
50 centimeters here
и
and
еще
15 centimeters more.
15. К примеру, вот так вот, можно еще вот побольше.
I'll even add about 5
Теперь
more
смотрите,
centimeters.
начало у меня должно быть 6
Have a look here.
сантиметров, потому что
The
у
beginning
меня
of the bow should be
пояс
6 centimeters
в
wide.
блузе 5,
I remind you that the waistband
в блузе
in the
шире,
blouse is
а
5
бант у
centimeters
меня
wide.
должен быть 6, сырой, в сыром
I'm
виде,
cutting a
потому
6
что
centimeter
затон
wide
должен быть
bow for it to be
начало
5
5,
centimeters
на
wide when it's
шелке
ready.
сантиметр. Вот так вот, 6 сантиметров. Ну, а в конце
I want
мы
the
берем,
ends of the
чтобы
bow
он
to be
был
9
уже там
centimeters
9,
wide.
к примеру.
I'll show you the
Сейчас
details when I
вырежете,
cut them.
увидите. И пошли на расширение.
I want the bow to be wide at the ends. There are no special rules for making bows. You can make them of any shape and length you want. Guys, I want you to understand that we can sew and wear anything we want. I also want the ends of the bow to be biased. I don't want them to be too wide though. What is important is that this part of the bow should be of the same width as the waistband when it's stitched.
Если у нас сшитый 5, то здесь 6, еще плюс на шов.
I'll show you the bow when I finish cutting it. I know that you can't wait to see it either. I cut the two details for the bow. They're folded in half. The details are 6 centimeters wide at the beginning and 9 centimeters wide at the end. The ends do not necessarily have to be biased. It's up to you. I'm going to tack the details this way. When I tack the bow, I'll try the blouse on. I can't wait for it.
Сейчас уже вы увидите примерку.
I'm wearing the tacked blouse. I remind you that I haven't even doubled any of the details. Anyway, the blouse looks pretty good this way. Have a look at the way the darts fit me. The dropped shoulders look pretty good. The collar is also perfect. It can be made even lower. I like it the way it is. When the collar is doubled, stitched and ironed, it will look much better. The bow looks absolutely amazing. The pin tucks are also very beautiful. Have a look at the back. Let's have a close look at the armholes. You can see that they're perfect. They're not too small or too big. I showed you how to draw the armholes in the original mockup. I haven't changed anything off the camera. Now you know how to make such blouses on the basis of the patterns for the garments with the drop shoulders. I'm going to show you some more designs which can be applied to this pattern. As I always say, knowing all the needed sewing techniques is what can help us be different and beautiful. It also allows us sewing the high-quality garments. Do not rely on anyone but yourselves. Do you remember how this detail looks like in the sketch? There was an opening here at the bottom. There's no opening in the blouse. I like it better this way. Let's have a close look at the bow.
Теперь смотрите, вот у меня тут бант.
One detail is attached to the side seam, and the other one to this edge. There will be a tiny button here on the wrong side.
Видите, да?
Have a look at the waistband. The bow is very beautiful. You do not necessarily have to make a bow. A knot would be enough. These details can be made as long as you want. Learn to work with the darts. I've already showed you how to move them and how to divide them into parts. Due to the fact that I divided the dart in two, the dart tops are not too sharp. You do not necessarily have to place the darts beside each other. You can move them however you want. Use your imagination and don't be afraid of experiments. Remember that practice makes perfect. That's all for today. Be different and beautiful. I'm working really hard to help you. My name is Paukšte Irina. Subscribe to my channel, write comments, share videos, press the like and the bell buttons. I would really appreciate your support. Thank you. Goodbye.